What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 10th day of March, and here we are at about $70,600, moving up, getting a little bit more of a bullish uptick in the price and in the sentiment too. I think people are getting a little bit less fearful. Let's see. Yeah, we're at a 26. We were at an 18. I mean, we're still in fear. Um, and I don't know about you guys, but the claim, the very bold claim, which I don't think it's that bold. I think it's very obvious, but it was a very bold claim that I made yesterday. And I say bold only because it went counter to what everybody else is saying. Is that I don't think that this Iran United States conflict is as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. And again, for the people who get offended by words, of course it's a big deal. People are dying. It's a military operation in another country with multiple countries combating one country. Of course, it's a big deal. But everybody's saying it's going to lead to World War III, that this is going to last for years. We're in another multi-year war. That this is going to ruin the world economy. All this stuff, you guys. It's the media builds things up bigger than it is, and there's two reasons for it. Okay, one, it's not to help you. Two, like in that not to help you, it's like to build propaganda. Two, it's to promote whatever engages you, which fear is the biggest engager of all, and the media knows this. They make more money with more engagement, more views. That's how they make their money. They're not there to help you. They're there to spread a story, and not that it's not a good story. It's or a bad story, however you want to look at it. I'm not trying to get into the politics, but I'm wondering how negative the sentiment's going to be involving this United States Iran conflict after today, because people were not really caring about it up here, talking about how actually this is really good for the price. And then everybody was down here, literally at the bottom, like clockwork, saying, "Oh my God, this is going to devastate the price." Right? Like it just back and forth, back and forth. Meanwhile, this whole time, I'm going to tell you the same exact message I've been telling you. You ready for it? You already know what I'm going to say. We are going to move sideways. Every pump will get dumped into, every dump will get pumped into. That's the main thought here, right? Even whenever I was, back here calling for us to go to a lower low, the idea was barely, and that we'd come back up. It was still sideways, just a little bit more of a range. We didn't go there. I was wrong about that. Did call for a pullback here. I did say the low, so I would expect us to go with 66K. That's exactly where we went. And then literally at the low, I was bullish, and we were calling for a bounce here. While I feel like most people were actually bearish and worried again. The what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. The fear of this conflict was getting to people. And it's just funny how emotional we are. Watch like clockwork today, you guys. The amount of influencers that are worried about this conflict, it might go away. Maybe not. Maybe they'll still cling to it. I mean, maybe new developments happen as well. But again, here's my thought overall, guys. The Iran, United States, Israel, Qatar, Kuwait conflict, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, all those countries, right? Because they've all had to shoot down missiles from Iran. They've Kuwait, was it Kuwait or Qatar that intercepted fighter jets from Iran, and they literally shot them down. That was the first time that their air force ever saw combat, right? Like whatever. It's not just the United States and Israel. There are plenty of other Muslim Islamic countries that are involved in this too, right? It's not just Jew and Christian versus Islam, right? It's really not even these countries versus Iran. It's versus this regime, right? It's versus this regime. And I think no matter what side of the aisle you're on, we can all agree that this regime is a bad regime, is a totalitarian regime, and they do not have the best interests of their people in mind. Who am I to make any kind of decision on what goes on in any other part of the world? I'm nobody, and I'm not making any decisions. I'm just weighing in on my opinion. I don't care to talk about politics with you guys too much. But again, the main point isn't to share my views. It's to share my belief into why I don't think this is going to matter. And here's why. Ready? The conflict started sometime around here, right? Sometime around here, something like that. It was one of these days. I think it might have even been from this low here. My question to you is, do you think that the United States just all of a sudden right here flipped the switch and they're like, we're gonna go to war with Iran, we're gonna drop bombs, we're gonna attack them, we're gonna do a coordinated attack strike with Israel on Iran? That just was an overnight decision? Or do you think they had this planned out well over a month ago, even months ago, right? and that that there was some insider information. You know, we've got the president, all his cabinet members, anybody who's affiliated with his family or anything, they are all aware of what's going to go down. Okay? I had a buddy tell me that we were going to go to conflict with Iran about a week and a half before it happened because he's got insider information. Me, I got that. You don't think that the president and all these powerful people had this insider information? You know what I mean? The move from the people who have money that matter, the money that matters, not that these people matter, it already happened. It already happened. So by the time the negative news came out, people were freaking out. That just gave you more incentive to sell at the bottom on a higher low. And that's all it was. It's the same thing as it was 2 days ago. I don't care to spend too much more time on this. I want to get into the TA, but just think not about the situation you're in. Think about your emotional capacity. If your emotions are high, whether it's euphoria or fear, and you feel like that emotion is validating your stance is probably invalid, okay? A place of emotion will get you screwed in this game. Believe me. Believe me. The main thing that I'm trying to say here too, and I'm getting away from it, is bullish, bearish, who gives a damn? Because we're not bullish. We're not bearish. We're moving sideways, guys. We're going to go over it again. I'm going to drill it into your heads, okay? The same way that I did here. Everybody likes to say that I've been wrong for months. I haven't been wrong for months. I haven't been wrong for months. I was wrong about one thing and one thing only. You guys ready for what it was? And I maybe wrong about multiple things. Not just wrong about one thing. I was wrong about the bull market. I was wrong about when the bear market started, of course. Okay. But from this point on, literally to the T of that low, I called that low. I said we would move sideways for at least 30 days, maybe 60 days, or longer. This period of time that we moved sideways, whenever we broke out of our channel, it was on the 60th day. When we really got moving to the downside, it was on the 69th day. I said we'd move sideways. That was the whole thing of this. The only thing I was wrong about in this range was I thought we were going to break out to the upside. Instead, we broke out to the downside. But as soon as we got below 85K, I was bearish. Now, I didn't make videos here because I went to put a family member to rest in this time. And I didn't say that at this time because I don't care to let you guys know whenever that stuff happens. I think it's tacky. I think it's corny. I don't need your, condolences, whatever. Like, no offense. It's personal to me. I don't care. It's been some time. I can talk about it, but it's, I'm surprised I'm even talking about it now, but that's not the point. I'm not trying to get sympathy. That's why I honestly, on a whole nother note, I never ever talk about personal stuff like that, even in my own friend groups online on socials. Like, I don't make Facebook posts about people who matter to me who have passed on. I don't do that. Because then it takes away from that and it makes it all about me. How many sad icons can I get? How many condolences and RIPs and everything will be okay, they're in a better place. It becomes about me. I think it's tacky. Everybody mourns in their own way. My way is to just keep it to myself and to my family and not online or not socially, okay? But anyways, I didn't make videos here, but whenever I did make my first video, it was once we were below this low here, and we were bearish. We were bearish until the low, where again, I've said we were going to move sideways. So really, I was wrong for like a little sliver of time, and we did become bearish once we got below this low, so not even this whole sliver of time. And this whole time, I've been calling for us to move sideways. Just like this whole time, right? And I'm saying that this part is really for the trolls, because it's like you guys want to pretend that I haven't been right in years, as some of you guys like to say, but that's just not fair, because I was actually very right about this range, other than the directional heading that we broke out from. But again, we became bearish once we were below this low. Started to really become bearish once we were below 85K technically, but I digress. It's the same thing here, right? And I'm calling for us to be very, very near the low. But time-wise, I think we're going to move sideways more, and then inevitably we'll go down. We will likely see a slightly lower low than this. But at the same time, guys, I have to admit, I'm more of the belief now than I have been throughout this whole range that this really could be the low. It's possible. It depends on a few things. I'm not there yet. I would still say the greater likelihood, the percentage chance that this is the low is lesser. Right? We are likely not have found the low here. We likely do have a slightly lower low to go, but I'm very confident that we don't go too much below 50K. That if we see a lower low, it's going to be kind of like a fake out process. Kind of just like the last cycle that we had, the last bear market, but I digress. We're moving up. Get excited. Get emotional. It's not going to help you. It didn't help you on the way down. It didn't help me on the way down. It didn't help anybody on the way up. It didn't help you back here, these emotions. You know why? It's because we're moving sideways. Drill it into your head. And when I say sideways, was this sideways? Was this sideways? I would say it was, but guess what? We moved slightly up on the lows and the highs, okay? You could argue that we were moving upwards slowly, but that's sideways. To me, that's sideways, okay? I hope it's obvious as to why I'm saying that. Same thing here. We've got higher lows, higher highs. We're sideways. We're consolidating, but we're sideways. Can we break out of this right now? See a lower low? Yes, and we'd still be moving sideways because I don't care what the price does right now, unless it's a dramatic shift with some dramatic volume to back it up. My expectation is we will be moving sideways until May. If not, June. If not, July. Months from now. Say it with me with a capital M. Months. Months. Months of sideways. Months of getting excited at the highs and getting depressed at the lows. Just like this shenanigans here, okay? If you understand that and you believe that, you will be a lot better off in these pinnacle emotional moments, okay? 2-week time frame. One more time. Every single time that the RSI has been at or around the oversold zone here, what happened? What happened with the price? We moved sideways from the low to the point that we finally got above this high, which would be the point that I would consider that we broke out. We moved sideways for 22 weeks, 24 weeks, 21 weeks. I'm sorry, that's 21. We were moving up, so we could just say that we found the low and we really started to move up. Let's say after about 19 weeks. That's whenever we started to move up. But however you want to say it, we were sideways, we broke out, whatever. 19, 21 weeks, I don't care. By the way, that's 266 days. Roughly. Whenever we were down here, how long did we move sideways for? We moved sideways for 9 weeks, which is a lot less, but it's still 119 days. 120 days, let's just round it up, 120 days that we moved sideways. Which, you know, each month is 30 days. That's over 100 days is over 3 months. I mean, 120 days is basically 4 months. It's over a quarter of a year, well over a quarter of a year. Here, when we found our low, we moved sideways. When did we break out? It was 15 weeks, 210 days later. And again, these lines, what are they reflected on? It's not just the low in the price. We went just off of the lows in the RSI, which, you know, looking at this on a 2-week period, it looks like we're going to find the low here. We have 5 days, 11 hours left. We're up at 70K. I don't think that it stops here. I do think that we're going to build, and we'll get into that in a second. But I'm trying to drill home this idea that we will be moving, say it with me, with a capital S, sideways. We're going to move sideways. 9 weeks, 15 weeks, whatever. I don't know. The range that we've had so far was 9 to 19 weeks. Imagine that is just 9 weeks. Just, only, strictly 9 weeks. Okay? That puts us in June. That puts us in June before we start to move down or move up. Okay? And actually, all of these times we started to move up. I counted, actually, so to be fair with this last one, we did move lower. We did break out before 15 weeks. We broke out on the 11th week, to be fair. Maybe I should count that if that's what we're expecting as a lower price, 11 weeks. 9 to 11 weeks, something like that. June, it's the beginning of July. Hey, right? This whole sell in May, go away thing, I think, is not nonsense. It comes from a very solid background, historically speaking, in the stock market world. But sell in June, go away has been a lot more reliable in Bitcoin's history. And that's why, again, from here, where it's only been really 2 weeks or 2 candle periods since we've seen the lows. I said 20 weeks. I'm sorry. It was 20 2 weeks periods, right? So it would have been 40 weeks. All of these, my bad. I kept saying 15 weeks, 9 weeks. Sorry, this is 30 weeks. This would be 18 weeks. This would be 8. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I did that because I was thinking weekly. It's actually a 2-week time. So all of these would actually be doubled. That's why it's so many days. I was like, 19 weeks is 266 days. That sounds kind of crazy, because it's not 19 weeks. It's actually what would that be? Is that 38 weeks? 38 weeks. Yeah. Anyways, get it through your heads. We don't have to even use the RSI. Do the same thing, but when the MACD crosses below the zero, how long did you move sideways after that? It's the same thing. It's the same principle. When you got oversold in the stochastics, how long did you move sideways after that? It's the same principle, right? Let's get into the short-term stuff. We've talked about the long-term stuff plenty of times over the past couple of weeks. I was talking to one of my buddies about this. Man, if this is the low, again, and I've said this myself over the past month, if this is the low, we never had a bear market. This was just a correction. It was just a correction. And bear markets are corrective phases, sure, but this would be too small percentage-wise and too short time-wise for it to actually be a bear market. No, if this was the low and we didn't go lower, really we're just in a crab market. We've been in Bitcoin's like first real true like multi-year crab market. We had a little crab market here, a little crab market there, little crab, there's little crabs, but this would be a very big crab, right? Anyways, and the reason why, again, that we would know that this wasn't a bear market if this was the low is because that it just doesn't behave like a bear market, other than the fact that you had a lower low. There are a lot of things that just like this does not play with. If we go back in time, we go all the way back in time. I keep wanting to do the short term stuff, but we're stuck on the long term stuff here. Is this right here, everybody would, a lot of people, a lot of analysts in crypto would call this the first bear market. But I think objectively, if we look at this, I think this was all one bull market. We didn't have the halving at this point. There was no halving related cycle at all around this point. I mean, we had the halving in November going then after, maybe that had some type of effect. But I don't know if I'd call this a bear market. This was just a correction in what was an overall super cycle for Bitcoin. It was the longest bull market in Bitcoin's history. And again, on a 2-week period, this is the one time we didn't get oversold, right? I'm just saying, it seems to me we spent a lot less time below the 50 here than we did any other bear cycle that we had. All right, the amount of time we spent below the 50 there, below the 50 here, even below the 50 here. And again, this could build an argument as to why this could be some kind of correction. This could be the low, but I don't think it is. I really do think that we're going to see something like this. We're going to move sideways. People are going to get excited. Instead here, how we saw lower highs, maybe we see higher highs. And we get people excited at the highs, and then boom, and then we sell off. And we get that. It'll be a bigger sell-off because we'll have higher highs. It'll cause more panic, and really we didn't do anything. We barely saw a lower low. And right there at that max panic, max fear, boom. And you know what's going to happen at that max panic, max fear? Something in the world, something in the markets that it'll be a story. It'll be a big, scary, negative story, even scarier than what's going on in Iran, or maybe at least comparable to that. And your emotions will run high, and that will tell you that the exact opposite's going to happen. That's how we know these things, right? Your emotions can be a guide. As much as they can hinder your abilities to think clearly, if you're aware of this, it can be a guide, right? But you have to be aware of the quote-unquote contrarian mindset, okay? Let's look at the short-term stuff. Because if you've been watching this video so far, you're probably tired of me ranting, and you're probably also just thinking that I'm saying we're going to move up. Yes, I think we're going to move up. But we actually might find some turbulence here. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we found turbulence here before moving higher. Watch, this is why. Ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. High to low. Where are we? What is this? Do you guys know? I know you know. If you've been watching the channel, man, I know you know. This is ingrained in your psyche. We're at the golden ratio. And it's the first attempt. And volume's decreasing. What's going to happen? We're at prior areas of resistance right here, right here. A lot of people, a lot of analysts, people who I respect, and they have good track records, they were all saying 69K, 70K. Whenever that breaks, then we're bullish. Well, why were they saying that? They weren't saying it because of the fibs, because 70K wasn't really an important level, 69K wasn't really an important level on the fibs. They're saying it because of these highs and these lows here, right? Whenever we broke through this, that was bad. Whenever we broke through this to the upside, that was good, right? But the thing is, looking past that, where we are now, we're still at points where we found resistance, resistance, resistance before as well. And beyond all that, relatively speaking, we have our golden ratio here. And so Bitcoin's doing exactly what it loves to do, which is as soon as people get bullish, that's when we pull back. And then people will get bearish again, just like they were here on these higher lows. And then we will move up. We will move up. I mean, genuinely from here, guys, to be completely fair, from here, we could come down and see a lower low. And then as soon as we get that lower low, then we move up. Like, Bitcoin has been anything but honest throughout this range. The one thing that we can genuinely expect is that down, up, it doesn't matter, because we're going to be right here in a month, in 2 months. We're going to be right here. We're not going to be too far away from it at the very most, because we're going to be moving sideways. Yes. 1 hour time frame. You look at the RSI on the 1 hour. This is actually a really good RSI, guys. I don't like that we're rejecting so much, but the fact that we're getting multiple iterations up here while building higher lows, that is nice. When this structure kind of fades, that'll be whenever we can expect more bearish things. I think once we get below the 50, probably. I mean, we're just one swift move on the 1 hour time frame away from that. We'd like to come back down to the oversold zone. You look good for now. I wouldn't be surprised. The one thing that I have an issue with is I just don't think that we're going to move too much higher, actually, to be fair. Golden ratio resistance. It's not common on your first attempt to break through the golden ratio. But if we do go higher, this is what I'll say. I'm calling for this to be a momentary high until we get back down to 69.7 to 68.7K. Depending on what we do here, depending on how we find support down here, that will determine if we move up higher, if we move up higher still, or if we're going to go below this low. If we do not hold 68.7K, that's the line you need to really care about right now. 68.7K doesn't hold on a 4 hour closing basis or higher time frame. We likely will see prices that are either lower than this or at the very, very best something down at like 67.5K, which is really not that far away from where we are now. When I say something lower than this, I don't mean a catastrophe. I just mean, okay, a little bit lower, and then we'll move up. As soon as people get bearish, that's when we'll move up. It's not common to go above the golden ratio on the first attempt. If we do, we'll find resistance at 72.1 to 73K. I'm not expecting this personally, but if what I'm wrong about is this move, okay, that's what will happen. We'll then look to find support either where we are now. So, right, if I was bearish here, we would still come back exactly here and bounce in a bullish scenario, or we'd come back down to these areas or even lower areas to find support and then recover as well. There's multiple paths that we can go forward on. I'm going with this path. Okay, this is the path that I'm going with. We're going to find resistance here. This is a momentary top. Okay, and then we're going to move down to this price or this price somewhere down here. That's what I'm expecting. Okay, and then from there, we should be moving higher. That's my thoughts. Yeah, I think we will move higher. We look at the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour RSI. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. 4 hour RSI. You see anything notable about this, right? We were very oversold back here. Since these times, what happened? We really haven't gotten that oversold, have we? A little bit, but not really that much. If we notice, since these times, guess what? That's also the time that we really began this sideways range, right? So the dynamics of this range overall, based on the 4 hour time frame, and I've said this like every day for the past week now, we're going to go over it again. The dynamic is up here, time to sell. Down here, time to buy, time to buy, time to buy, time to sell, time to sell, time to sell. Both of these times, time to buy. Time to buy, right? Time to sell, right? Time to sell, yes. Time to buy, yes. Time to sell, yes. Time to buy, yes. Time to sell, time to sell. Both of those times work. Time to buy, yes. Right. Oh, where are we now? We're at a time to sell point. It's very obvious. Can we go higher? Yes, again, we can. And that's where, again, that 786, 886 comes in. We can go higher, but likely not by much. I saw some people today who I respect, actually not today, but yesterday, who I respect as far as analytical abilities go, and then just as far as human beings go. They were calling for this to be the beginning of a move that sends us to 160K and new all-time highs, and I just think that's crazy. I think it's crazy, man. We haven't spent enough time moving sideways. I know you're bored. I know you're bored. It doesn't matter what you are or what you aren't, though. Bitcoin's going to bore you even more for months with a capital M, right? We said it earlier. Months. Time to sell. Hasn't failed us yet. It probably won't fail us until June. Maybe May. Stochastics are overbought. You can do the same thing. We're overbought. It's time to come back down. Time to cool off. That doesn't mean that we're going to see a lower low, but it could. The MACD is really just unreliable. Whenever you're choppy and sideways like this, the MACD is not going to help you. I mean, the stochastics are probably going to help you less too. But anyways, daily time frame. We're going to wrap this up here pretty soon. Daily RSI looks productive. You know, even whenever it's productive here, like from this low to this high here, we still had drawbacks, okay? Even from like this low to high here, we still had drawbacks before moving higher. You know, we can have a little drawback here and still move higher. I think that we will continue to do so. We'll see. The RSI is neutral right now, but in a bullish posturing. Stochastics are in a bullish posturing. The MACD is in a bullish posturing. It does depend on how we close today, but I think as long as today closes green, all of these indicators will maintain their bullish posturing, giving me, again, this reassured kind of thought that we will inevitably see a price above this. But again, let's talk about this thought. Getting above here, hold on, guys. Getting above here does not mean we're off to the races. In fact, what it likely means is people will be excited that we're quote unquote breaking out of this range, and that's the time to sell. When we move up above 74K, we'll probably stop at 75K and then come back down. That's the expectation. I got nothing else for you. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. The main gist of this, if you're thinking I'm saying we're going to move up, we're going to move down, you're wrong both times because we're moving sideways, guys. We're moving sideways until when? At the earliest, May. At the latest, July. Most likely, sometime in June. And my expectation, unlike this sideways range, is that we will go down, and oh so slightly down. I don't even think that we're going to go below 50K. But time will tell. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.